as a sick gamer clap. And speaking of clapping, about to clap these cheeks, because excitingly, we're back on that bullshit. Everybody, hello, welcome.
Very smooth.
I'm back
very
on my
smooth.
I'm back on my bullshit. How's it going? We're back. It's been a long break for us, though upload schedules do kind of reflect that as well. It's been kind of sparse recently, because we've been off for a month. Well, over a month, I guess, at this point, about maybe 4 to 5 weeks, but we're back. And no, this is not an episode on Super Metroid like what we said on the last episode.
Yeah.
That'll be next one. We've just had a long enough break that we need to catch up on shit that we've been playing for over a month now. And that's what this episode is. So if you just want to hear splurges about random games, and maybe even the PlayStation 5, whoa, go ahead and stick around. But this is usually disappointed. I'm your I was going to say main man. Am I the main man?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes, you
Yeah.
are.
I technically am. I don't.
Yeah.
I
Own
don't
it,
know.
man.
This
Own
is everyone's work. I'm throwing up my hammer and sickle. This podcast is everyone's podcast.
Cue the Soviet national anthem.
Yes.
More editing for me. Great.
That's where we should make
anyway.
the logo, like a hammer and sickle knockoff, but instead of a hammer and sickle, it's
It's a video game controller and
Mountain Dew.
Dodo.
A vape pen. I don't know.
oh wow, really going in on that full Zoomer energy. Anyway, my name Jeff. It's Ethan.
Oh, okay.
I'm Ben.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm back. I'm Elias.
Yeah, baby, we got Elias. What's good?
What?
What?
Yeah,
Are
baby.
you gonna play Super
like,
Metroid?
Probably not, because it's supposed to be U3 originally, and I don't know if I'll be able to play it in a week, but I might try it later, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if as far as Nintendo games go, you'd probably like it a bit more.
Yeah,
It's a
it seems like
Metroidvania.
something I'd like, so.
Yeah, we'll see.
sick. Well, as I said, this episode is primarily centered around getting caught up on games that have been played over the past while, and I want to start with our good friend Ben. What you've been playing?
Well, mostly over this last break, I've been playing this wonderful game called Community College. And so that's basically the main reason why I hopped off for a while, because it was getting close to the end of the semester and finals were coming in. I was getting swamped with final projects and, you know, how all that is, you fellow college students out there. So yeah, I was just constantly doing homework. Didn't really have time to play really many games at all. And yeah, so, but now at this point, at the time that we're recording this episode, the semester has ended and I am free for the summer. So that means I will be back regular on the podcast. So yeah, in terms of games though, for like a little while, I play, like when I got like a big chunk of my homework done, I had like a weekend that was like sort of free, and so I played through Subnautica again, probably for like the 4th time. Fantastic game, still love it, still scares the crap out of me. And then I played a little bit of Ratchet and Clank, I believe. Yeah. Andrew, you and I were like, we were kind of like, no, you were watching me, right?
Yeah, I was. It was a lot of fun. A long time ago, I got, excuse me, a long time ago, I got roadblocked in Ratchet and Clank 2, and I kind of gave up on it for like 5 months or so, and I tried jumping back into it. I couldn't remember why I stopped, and about 10 minutes in, it's like, oh, that's why. I can't do anything. I think I kind of played the game wrong. I think I went like an unintentionally like pacifist route with the game. So like I feel like I'm really underleveled for like where you're supposed to be in the game, and so that kind of screwed me over. So this keeps happening with Ratchet and Clank. I like play it wrong, and then I get soft lock essentially. I feel bad. Because I want to like them. I'd love to be a Ratchet and Clank fan. Like the trailers and like gameplay footage for the new game came out during our break, and I want to play that one. Like that one looks like fun. It looks like a Pixar movie as a video game, which is what I've always wanted. So yeah, like I want to play that one. But the other ones are hard to get through, and not because they're bad, but because I'm stupid and I play them wrong.
And so basically, our whole thing was Andrew wanted to watch me play Ratchet and Clank 2 to see if I was doing something that he wasn't, and pretty much the big catch was that he wasn't really fighting enemies as much.
Yeah,
so basically,
he was
you just need to
moving
kill
and
more.
shooting, and I was like fleeing.
Yeah, so you need to play
strategy.
it like decently aggressively, and try to kill as many things as possible.
Just play it like an American. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Just going guns blazing, you know.
Yeah,
I call it
my inner British. I'm very polite.
I call it baby's first Doom for a reason.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because you go in and you have to be constantly moving and shooting and swapping weapons and strategizing, except for the fact that it's a fuzzy fox-like alien and it's in third person, and it's not nearly as violent. So, and it does not move like a boomer shooter in the slightest, but still.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're fun games. I'm looking forward to watching you play the new one. Like that'll be fun. Speaking of watching games, I watched Ethan play Resident Evil 8 for a while. I'm sure he'll want to get into that later, but I won't like talk about it now. I just want to say that like I think that'll be my experiences with the PS5 for like the next couple years, as I like watch streams of you guys playing the games and just enjoy it through that method. I think that's what I'll be doing.
That is a fair way to enjoy a game being played, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's totally valid, and sometimes it could be even more fun, to be completely honest.
It sometimes it is, yeah.
And that's why the world of Let's Players exists in the first place.
Exactly.
True.
But yeah, so other than those two games, I don't think I played much else, actually. Actually, I started Nier Automata, because Elias played it probably during your break, Elias, because
yes,
you were
I'll
spending
talk more about that when I get to me, yeah.
Yeah, so so I started playing Nier at his request. I was like, oh sure, why not? And I've been enjoying it so far. So yeah, I still haven't really gotten too far into it, but I'm enjoying what I've experienced. So yeah, cool stuff.
Hell yeah!
And that's basically it.
Nice.
Well, I got some games I want to talk about before we kind of address the elephant in the room, and that being the PlayStation 5. I'm going to probably go on a big thing about that and everything, my impressions, basically my overview of the system, what I've been playing on it, so on and so forth. I'm not going to talk about anything PS5 related right now. Other games. At the very start of our break, my friend Cody and I, shout out to Cody, love you,
hey, Cody.
baby. Mwah. He and I played through Halo Reach together in a single night, because we keep forgetting that game is actually really short. But man, Halo Reach, man, that's a damn good game. We played that together on Master Chief Collection. Halo Reach, good game. That might be a recommendation for me at some point. I additionally played a few more games off, just kind of not on the PlayStation. I played Postal Redux on Switch, because I just like the idea of playing a Postal game on my Nintendo Switch. I don't know how it got there, but it did. So I was playing a mass shooter game on my Switch. And Postal is still Postal Redux is like a kind of a remaster remake of the original 1996 Postal game. Isometric shooter game. Tough as nuts, but simple but fun. And it's on the Switch, and I just kind of had to play it for that novelty. Decent game. I played and retired. I think I mentioned this game previously on the podcast, but did I talk about the Crash Bandicoot mobile game?
That does
not that I remember.
Sound familiar, yeah.
That sounds
Okay.
strange, though.
Yeah, it sounds.
Okay, yeah. I was kind of following this up before it released, and yeah, there's a Crash Bandicoot mobile game that was set to come out this year, and it did, and it was going to be a kind of like those 3-lane runner kind of games.
Oh, an
Think
endless runner?
Temple Run. Yeah, one of those kind of games. And I'm like, okay, I think with Crash Bandicoot, I think that's actually a fun IP to actually do that with. So I was kind of looking forward to it. And then the game came out, and I mean, I don't know what I should have expected, but I don't know, I played it for a little bit, and I was like, for like the most part, kind of with it. And now I've just kind of gotten to a point where I just retired it. It just, like, multiple currencies, and you gotta grind for this, and cooldown timers for things. I'm like, this is just want to play a game.
Generic mobile game issues, yeah.
Yeah, so Crash on the Run, I do not care about it. I have not cared about it for a few weeks now. And then I think I have 2 other little games to talk about. I finished Ratchet and Clank, the first one.
Hey.
Yes, I don't think I ever beat it before, but I did play it back on the PS2. But yeah, no, I can confirm I have actually finished and rolled credits on the game. And yeah, man, Ratchet and Clank, great game. It's certainly aged, but it's a real good game nonetheless. I played the PS3 HD upscale version of the game, which apparently that disc is now becoming extraordinarily expensive, so I'm glad I have it. But yeah, no, Ratchet and Clank was pretty fun. I'm gonna get back into the series soon. I'm kind of amassing a large library of PS3 and Xbox 360 titles, and Ratchet and Clank is a series I'm really trying to hone in on right now, because I want to play all the games, baby.
It's a really good series. It's fantastic.
But last, my guys, so for years there has been a game that has always had my attention, but I've never been able to play it. It is part of one of my favorite genres of all time, the side-scroller beat-em-up, and I have heard from people that, it is amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. It's peak arcade brawler action. I never played it. Aliens vs. Predator, made by Capcom, released in 1994, only for the arcade, has never been ported anywhere else. Heard of nothing but amazing things about it. I've been hyped on this game for years. I have always wanted to play it. About maybe a week or 2 ago, I was at a friend's house, and he has a Raspberry Pi, and I'm about ready to get one too. And on his Pi, he has a bunch of arcade games that were uploaded on there, and one of them was Aliens vs. Predator. So I'm like, oh shit, I gotta play this, and he was leaving to go, pick up his wife from work, and he's like, I'm just gonna take off. I'll be gone for like half an hour or so. Like, I got a couple other errands I'm gonna do. He's like, I'm just gonna leave you here. I'm like, well, okay. And so I'm sitting there like, shit, dude, I'll just play AVP. Oh my god. Oh, it's so good. It was everything I wanted it to be. Capcom, man. Capcom. Damn, man. They're probably my favorite publisher, to be completely honest, and in a lot of places my favorite developer. They goof up on so much shit, do not get me wrong, and they have released their fair share of absolutely terrible games, but oh my lord, when they hit, and AVP for the arcade is amazing. One of the best arcade games I've ever played. Probably going down in history as my favorite beat 'em up. It's so good. It's so good. So good. Anyway, I've coomed enough. Who wants to go next between Andrew and Elias?
Pass it off.
Just pass it off. Yeah.
Elias.
I was opening my mouth to like.
I was about to say, well, who played more games? Because I didn't play much. I just one mainly, but.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll be the grand finale because I'm the fan favorite.
Oh yes.
You are.
I'm sure I am.
Much like Ben, sadly not college, but I was playing Music Producer Simulator 2021 in the Hood edition.
This is the certified hood classic.
Yeah. But after looking at my available, so Ableton on the bottom left corner tells me my available disk space for recording. Last time we did the podcast, it said 470 hours of recording. It now says 261, so that tells you how much music I've recorded in the past little bit.
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of music, but much like Ben, when I had some time where I was like, hey, I need a break, I need to do something different, I actually was playing Nier Automata. Goddamn, that game has very, very quickly trumped every other game I think I've ever played in my entire life. Even nostalgia-worthy games like Ace Combat Zero, that game is now second to Nier, and that blows my mind. Even like Horizon Zero Dawn, and I freaking loved Horizon. I think we talked about that in like our favorite games of like the last generation or whatever. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this has toppled that by a landslide, and it's ridiculous to me that I would rather be playing Nier than Horizon at this point. But that game completely threw me for a loop, and I never wanted to leave that world. Absolute masterpiece in storytelling. The voice acting, at least the Japanese voice acting, was fantastic. I'll have to see what Ben thinks about the English one the further he gets into it. And it's just absolutely phenomenal, and I can't speak any greater about it. There are a few things, obviously, that I wouldn't say everyone's going to enjoy. For the most part, it keeps its themes very consistent, and the tone's very, very consistent. But there is a bit of like Japanese-esque humor thrown in, which kind of throws the mood off a little bit for some people, but I didn't find any issues with it. But besides
more
that,
specifically like us over here in the US, I'd imagine.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or if you're not like into anime or anything.
Yeah, there's a few little tropes kind of thrown in here and there, but yeah, I think I 100% of the game in like 2 weeks. I think I played it for 2 weeks mainly. 100% of the game. Wanted to go for in-game 100% completion, but I do not want to spend 6 hours fishing, so I'll do that maybe another day.
JRPG moment.
JRPG. The guy, what's his name? I forgot his name. Oh, I forget the name. But the guy that is the head of the producer for the game. God dang it. He tweeted out the best quote ever, that JRPG needs fishing. I think was the quote. It's fantastic. So of course he has fishing in his games. But that was the main thing I played. Besides that, I've passed the 100-hour mark in Assetto Corsa, so simulator drifting. I have 100 hours worth of time in that now, so that's great. Hitting some sick drifts, starting to do tandems, so basically following up against someone and getting my car right up against their doors and trying to like not crash them, obviously. Learning how to do that now. So that's always fun. And then I think those are the main two things I've been playing. Rocket League is the consistent. I still don't play that as much as I used to, for sure. I think played it like once a week with a couple of friends, and then just at this point it's like a what's my brain? It's late and I don't know what I'm thinking of anymore. The sunk cost fallacy.
The sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah. I'm at that point with this game where I have spent 3,000 hours in it, and at this point it's like I need to play to be good because I've played for 3,000 hours, so I just need to keep playing so I'm at least decent at a game that I spent 3,000 hours in. So that's the only reason I'm really playing Rocket League anymore. I still enjoy it, I guess, but it's mainly just so I can say that I'm still decent, which is a weird feeling that I've associated with that game, but yeah, Rocket League, Assetto Corsa, and Nier was my in-between writing music. Real quick, though, on that, the album that I am releasing is going to be a Vocaloid album, hopefully coming out beginning of June, if I can get everything finalized and done. I'm still finishing up the final touches, and I'm getting an artist to help me with cover art and stuff like that, and then I'll be making music videos, too, so it's going to be a big thing. So, more work ahead, but yeah.
Sick.
Would you say that you've nearly finished your music work?
Yes, I have nearly finished it automatically. Yeah, once I get more time, I'll be jumping into Nier Replicant, which is the remake of the original, or the one that they just released is a remake of the original Nier game, and that is going to be super fun. I hope. I haven't jumped into it yet. I pre-ordered it and I was going to play the day of release, but I was like, I spent 100 hours in Nier already, and I don't know if I can jump into this. And the hype in my brain is still so high for Nier Replicant that I don't want to like jump into it just yet, because I want to calm down so that way I don't like overhype the game and disappoint myself, you know?
Yeah, that's a bad thing to
exactly.
do.
So I'm calming down, focusing on other things, and I'll be like, hey, time to play Nier Replicant, and then hopefully it'll be good, you know?
Hell yeah.
So, anyway, that's my stuff. So Andrew.
Cool.
Andrew.
I have quite a few games because of the break. I finally beat Spider-Man for the PS4.
Nice.
Which, geez, that took like a year.
That's a good
Finally
game.
did it. I feel like I have like almost like a contentious opinion on that game, which is weird because I really enjoyed it. I really avoided like almost all the side activities. I didn't like the side missions, the side quests like hardly at all. I didn't really like the bases, but I did like finding the backpacks. So that's one thing I 100%ed. I like getting the different costumes. So there was some side content I liked, but what I mainly played it for was like the main, like going from mission to mission, and like the gameplay loop of the like swinging through the city. I actually find it kind of funny that there was a fast travel system. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Why would I want to miss like the best part of the game, which is like just like flying through the city? That's just so well done that like you can honestly do it for hours on end. It's just fun the whole time, and the missions do a great job of integrating the whole like web slinging angle and meshing that together with like with the action and like the boss fights. All that was super well done. And then randomly you play as like Mary Jane or Miles Morales in like a really like weird like stealth section. And those were funny. Like I liked being like 5 feet behind a guy and they're like, where is she? I love that, and it's hilarious. And whenever they actually do find you, their little animation of your character that gets played, they're like, and then it goes to black. Like, it's always worth it to get caught at least once or twice just to see that. Like, there was I enjoyed those sections for the most part. They definitely pale in comparison to the main gameplay loop, but yeah, really good game. I'd probably give it like a 7 or an 8. It was a lot of fun. I did find myself kind of disconnected from the story. I won't spoil like the ending, but something happens with one of Peter's loved ones while it was happening, I was like, wait, what? I forgot like why it was happening, and it kind of took me out of the moment. And that's I'm not sure if that's on me or the game, but at least for my experiences, the intended emotional effect didn't quite happen. So that's why I wouldn't give it higher than like an 8. But that's just me, and I'm sure like most people that want to play the game has already played it. So, and it's like your like favorite superhero game, right, Ethan? So, yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I'm looking forward. I definitely want to play the Miles Morales like side venture thing.
Yeah.
Gee, I might talk about that soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing your glowing recommendation on that game.
And or non-glowing recommendation, one of the two.
I mean, it's a crapshoot. Like, I have no idea whether you like it or not, Ethan.
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm curious. Other games I played Fez, which is an indie game.
Fez. Oh.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun. I really like indie puzzle games like that, as I've made clear before. And Fez definitely delivers on that. A lot of really clever, like, how the game works is that you only ever see everything's like a 3D model per se. Like every excuse me, every level is 3D, but you can only see it through a 2D lens, and you have to like flip between each angle to like kind of solve puzzles, which is a really like fun gameplay loop, and I think it was done really well. Although I will say that there's apparently a lot of puzzle components. Like you see a lot of like weird symbols that kind of like barcodes or like or things that are like in a different language. and I have no idea how you're supposed to figure that kind of stuff out. Does there come a point where they like give you like a key?
Yes.
Or something?
So,
okay.
My sister was the one that figured it out because I was playing it with her watching me. There's one of the levels that has, you know that like sentence that's supposed to contain every letter in the English alphabet, like the brown fox jumped over the something tree or whatever. That it has like one of each letter. I don't remember what the sentence was, but they depict that in one of the rooms in the game, and next to one of the side panels that you look through in that room has the entire alphabet written out, or has that sentence written out like that. And so by knowing that sentence, you can actually figure out which of each symbol means which letter. So I have this all written down in a notebook. And then by using that, you can actually read all the writings on every single wall and what people say. And then that helps you figure out how to get the final true ending. And then the QR codes actually do work as QR codes, and you can use those to get to certain websites and stuff like that. So it's like a whole like thing.
Whoa. How on earth are you supposed to figure that out?
A lot of patience, and again, I have my little like cheat sheet of every single letter, so you have to like slowly look through. And I think at one point I kind of learned it, so I was able to like actually read it decently easily. But yeah, it takes time.
Yeah, I would certainly say so. The game doesn't give any indication.
No, not at all. You just walk into this empty room that just has this little fox or whatever. Because again, it's that little sentence that has every letter in it, and it just depicts that in this room with the little fox jumping over the dog. Oh yeah, it's the fox jumping over the dog or whatever, right? And that's all that's in that room. And then there's a tablet in that room that has that saying written out in the language, and so you have to just connect the two in your brain and be like, oh, each of these is the letters, and then you go from there.
Wow.
Yeah. My sister would figure that out. I didn't figure that out. She saw me in that room and was like, oh, wait. Turn the thing. And I was like, okay. And we saw that little panel. She's like, oh, that's the sentence. That's the letters. Elias, that's the letters. And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. So.
Oh.
That's why I'm never 100%ing that game.
It's a hard one. It's hard.
Yeah, you need to have a 300 IQ sister.
I mean, you can also just look up like a guide, and the guide would tell you like to go to that room, and then you can figure out the letters. So it'll just give you like the key there as well. But yeah,
you're probably like one of 5 people on the planet that have figured that out without a key, like or just looking it up online.
It wasn't me; it was my sister.
You should feel very unique.
Props to her.
Yeah, you and your sister together.
Yeah,
like that's. Yeah, I think that's a very unique experience.
Oh, it definitely was. Like being able to figure that out and then like go around and talk to those people speaking to you in the weird language and actually be able to translate that. That was like the coolest like thing. I think that's why I love Fez so much, because like that extra attachment to figuring out the puzzle was like, whoa. But anyway.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, I'd probably just go for like roll credits.
Yeah. Just go for the normal ending, but.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a really good game. Let's see. Lastly, I played more of Resident Evil 2, the remake, which is again like just banger after banger right now. I can see myself being a pretty massive Resident Evil fan at some point. Between 4 and this one, yeah, both like. Which you'd probably say those are like the 2 best ones, right, Ethan? So maybe I'm kind of like
Resident Evil 4,
up,
yeah, Resident Evil 2 and 4. What Resident Evil 2 remake and 4 are my favorite Resident Evil titles.
Yeah, so maybe it's like all downhill from here, but
no, there's a lot more fun Resident Evil to discover. Do not get me wrong.
Yeah, no, and yeah, that's great. Honestly, like I've heard like I also have Resident Evil 3 remake as well. I bought the 2 at the same time, and I have seen like the reviews of that game, and some of the problems that they had with it. It seems like the main problem was just that it was too short for its price. And for me, I got it with my birthday money, so that critique is kind of lost on me. So I probably enjoy it fine, is my guess. and then I also have 7. I already have that on my Xbox, and yeah, and 5 and 6. Those are the ones that are kind of criticized, but I'm sure I don't know. I probably think they're fine. Is my
Dude,
guess.
if you play them on PlayStation, please play through them with me because they are amazing in co-op. Like,
Yeah,
I tell you, Resident Evil 6 is a phenomenal game and just how batshit stupid it is, but oh my god, man. You get another person in with you on top of it, there's nothing better.
that's
so
your
funny.
favorite. Ooh, hot take.
It's really funny. Resident Evil 6 is really good. It's something.
Yeah, I have my doubts that it's an actual bad game based on like what people have said about it. They just don't really like the direction I went, it seems.
Oh yeah, no, it's awful, but the game itself is really good. It controls and plays really well, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's and yeah, I don't see like me hating a game that's like structurally sound like that. It's like a structurally sound building with like a gross coat of paint, and
Yeah.
I'm like colorblind, so that's
I relate.
Then there's I wonder if I am colorblind. I don't know. And then there's the Resident Evil 1 remake too. That's
Resident Evil 0.
Oh, yeah, I guess there's others. But I don't know, I'll probably
Code
just stick with the
Veronica.
mainline games for now. Yeah, a lot of... this will probably take me a solid decade to get through, but I am looking forward to it. Yeah, a lot to go through, and I'm very slow, but it's... yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun little journey to go on, to embark. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's everything. Oh, dank. I'm glad that you're really enjoying Resident Evil 2. That game is really good. I'm due for a new playthrough of that soon.
Actually, real quick, I got to the second time you fight that like big zombie with the big eyeball. You know, the one that's like you fight him initially and like
Yeah.
underground. Yeah. So I got to the second fight. And that was really it was stupid for me to get to that part because I'd been playing for like 5 hours, and I'm like, okay, starting to wind down. So I finished the chess piece puzzle. I'm like, okay, I'll just see what's in the next room real quick. And then that whole boss fight breaks out. I'm like, oh crap, I was planning on stopping, and now I'm on this boss fight. And I was actually having a difficult time with it, and I'm like, this was foolish. I'll play when I feel more fresh. So,
Foolish man.
So, yeah, that was that was stupid of me. It's like, I'm sure that there's just like a treasure in the room, then I'll leave. That was stupid. Of course, there was gonna be like something scary happens, but yeah, very foolish on my part.
How could you have been so foolish, Andrew?
It's only my second one. I guess I haven't seen the patterns yet in the game. By the time I get to the, I've played all of them. Like I'll be able to like just predict everything that happens like 10 minutes before it does.
You know, you can defeat William Birkin really easily just by using flashbangs and a knife.
Yeah, I only got one flashbang though.
People are crazy. I've done it once. I did a flashbang knife on his boss fight, but that's not easy to do.
Yeah, no, I'm.
That's
I don't think
that's
I'm
what
that
you
good.
do. That's what you do when you play Resident Evil so much. You just kind of get into a zen state with it. And it doesn't even matter like what game it is because they're all kind of like, very kind of similar in a lot of structure wise and everything. Eventually, you kind of get to a point. It's like, oh, new Resident Evil, and you're like, boom, 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 like zoom in and like just kicking ass and taking names the whole way through.
Yeah, great games. Looking forward
That
to
they
playing more.
are.
Yeah. Speaking of
Glad you're
Resident
enjoying
Evil,
them. I'm not gonna get into Resident Evil just yet.
but dude, that's so perfect. Come on.
Yeah, okay, I'll do it. We'll talk about it before we get to general PlayStation 5 talk. But I actually finished Resident Evil Village.
Oh.
I have finished it today, and yeah, I really like it. It's really good. Full context: I have played every canonical Resident Evil game that there is, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Code Veronica,
So, like you said,
0,
dicks.
2 remake, 3 remake, 7, and now this one. Revelations and Revelations 2. So I have played every canonical Resident Evil game up to this point. And I don't know where I would throw it on my ranking list, but I think I might like it a little more than Resident Evil 7, possibly. It's really interesting. Resident Evil Village is really good. It's very much Resident Evil 4. It's like it's first person Resident Evil 4, and Andrew can attest to that because he's kind of watching me play it yesterday.
I watched him play for 3 hours last night, and I gotta say, I got a real kick out of watching Ethan like be scared to stuff.
Oh
really
my
fun.
lord!
Ethan all the time is just like, I don't like this. I don't like where this is going.
I'm a huge chicken shit when it comes to scary stuff, but I love Resident Evil. I love Resident Evil. I love it. And yeah, I mean those spooky bits. I mean the whole game has some pretty freaky stuff that kind of happens through it. For the most part, it's kind of a campy horror, which is just kind of what most Resident Evil honestly is anyway. But there is a section of Village, a good hour, I think, if not maybe a little more, that is, it's just pants shittingly scary for me, at the very least. Hey, what if PT, but Resident Evil? Like, okay.
Oh, PT,
I don't
dude.
like this.
Yeah.
It's not as scary as PT, man, but there's a lot of, like, it's pretty clearly a homage in a lot of ways to PT. But it's a really cool kind of like puzzle room with some really freaky shit that happens in it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, Resident Evil Village is far more action oriented, which kind of is kind of one of the first Resident Evil 4 isms that's within the game. You are given a lot more ammo than a lot of other Resident Evil games, especially the more survival horror type ones like Resi 1, 2, 3, mainly the Code Veronica as well. You're given a lot less ammo and a lot more ammo this time around, and with that you are kind of kicking ass and taking names for the most part. That still does not mean that there are not scary bits in the game, and there's a lot of really great stuff that still happens within there to freak me out, both in gameplay and in cutscenes. But it was kind of more of a Resident Evil 4 experience in that it didn't scare me a lot, but when it did it very, very well. It's really fun. Resident Evil 8 also kind of, I have a few complaints with it. It's a little more linear than what it wants you to think it to be. I'm fine with linearity. I don't care. Resident Evil is primarily linear anyway, but the game kind of lets you think that it's a little more open-ended than what it is, kind of early on, and Andrew kind of saw that, where it's like, we're kind of thinking like, ooh, cool, ooh, we have some choice, ooh, we can do this, or ooh, we can go do that, or anything, but it's like, no, you have to go do this first, then you go do that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
it shows a map with like 2 icons. It's like, go either way. It's like, okay, and then we started going south. It's like, there's a big gate. It's like, oh,
yeah,
never mind. Okay,
well, I guess we're going the other way. All right, away we go. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer, but the set pieces are still great nonetheless. The characters are really good. I heard a lot of complaints and reviews about Ethan as a character. He didn't really bother me in this one. He's not the best Resident Evil protagonist out there, but he's certainly better than what they turned Jill Valentine into in like Resident Evil Revelations, so I ain't gonna complain.
I've heard the poor man has several run-ins regarding his hands.
Yes, the game is very, very fetishistic about absolutely annihilating Ethan's hands.
It's only part of his body, so like, what else is he gonna? What else are they gonna mutilate?
Dude, that man just gets tortured throughout this entire game. He takes so much damage, He gets sickles shoved through his legs. He gets part of his left hand bit off. There's a moment where his hands are like cut, like giant hooks are like stabbed through the palms of his hands, and he's hung like up against a wall, and he tears his hands down to like free himself from that. He gets his arm cut off at one point, and he reattaches it like it's a stupid dumbass like schmaltzy movie. And I love that. Yeah, no, he there's, and dude, so much more. Man takes like 5-story tumbles and somehow survives. It's really funny.
So it's like the Outlast scissor scene, but on steroids.
Kind of, yeah. It's more like on crack, because the pacing of this game is very fast. It's just like, it's like, okay, we did this, now let's go do this and this and this and this and this and this, and it doesn't take a lot of time to slow down. But when it does a very good job at that. I think it's paced really well, because those, like the PT bit, I'm just gonna call it the PT bit at this point, but
yeah, very clear homage.
Yeah, but it's very slow and atmospheric.
No, that's not a bad thing. It's a very good.
Yeah, no, that's good. No, it's good, because it helps kind of pace out the whole experience. It's not just full-on action the whole time, which is what Resident Evil 6 is, and I love it for that, but there does get to be a point where it's like, okay, man, can we slow down for like just 1 second? Can I please take a breather? And Resident Evil 8 knows when to take its breaks, knows how to pace itself really well. It took me 8 hours to finish it, and that's about, I'd say, a good length for a Resident Evil game. There's also a free Mercenaries mode that's included in the game as well, and there's even the RE-verse multiplayer, which has not gone live just yet, but I do have what data there is to install of it installed right now. So I'll keep you posted on what's going on with Resident Evil going forward from here. There's a lot of additional expansions, both free and paid, for Resident Evil 7, so we'll see what Resident Evil 8 gives us in terms of add-on content, because I'm sure we'll get plenty. But anyway, I played Resident Evil Village on a little console called the PlayStation 5.
Little.
Ooh, yeah, little.
Puny,
everybody
minuscule.
do your oohs and ahs, like, oh wow,
Tiny,
you got one,
if you
yeah.
if you are so inclined.
If you are so inclined. Yeah, so I have entered quote unquote current gen. And if you're wanting me to answer if the grass is greener on the other side, you're gonna get a mixed response. If you want to just kind of know right off the top of, right on the top of everything, like, hey, is the PlayStation 5 worth it? The answer is yes. It's a great console. It's really good. And I'm pretty sure that, the praises that I'm going to sing about the PS5 are, going to be probably as equal, if not maybe even more in some cases, for the Xbox Series X. So, if you're curious, hey, is the 9th generation of consoles worth it? Your flat answer from me right from the beginning is yes. Now, let me qualify that. Got the short answer, now the long answer. The PS5, I'm working on a detailed review of it on Medium right now. I'm going to publish it somewhat soon, so you'll kind of get my overall opinions on it. So I'll keep it relatively brief, but the system is comedically gigantic to an extent that it is an inconvenience to have it hooked up all the time. It has taken away room from literally any other console that is hooked up to my HD TV, my 4K. I still have stuff plugged in and hooked up with my and close to my CRT TV, but my HD TV, the only thing I can fit is my Switch and my PS5. Those are the only two systems that'll fit.
So can you keep it, is it only able to like sit upright, or can you put like horizontal?
You could do both. You could do horizontal or vertical.
Can you stack
either
on top
would,
of it though?
No.
Yeah,
You
there's the catch.
cannot.
Don't.
That's
For the love of God.
So the face plates of the PlayStation 5 give it the molding that they use. It is not a flat surface like consoles should be. It's just an extraordinarily inconveniently designed console in terms of its overall aesthetics. And the thing is just ugly anyway. I hate how the thing looks. I still think it's one of the ugliest damn consoles there is. It's certainly the ugliest one that I have seen in quite a while. Anyway, performance. This is the stuff that most people care about. Yes, games both look and run a lot better on the PlayStation 5. Of course, PC gamers are gonna, they'll lift their noses up in the air and go, we've already had these features,
Ray tracing in it.
I know you've had it and everything. It's all good, you can go rub your stiffies elsewhere. Let the rest of us enjoy this. But finally, ray tracing is a thing on consoles, and it's implemented really interestingly, as well as full 4K 60 FPS gaming, HDR, a lot of neat features that has made this console generation feel like a much bigger leap than a lot of people are giving it credit for. There's a lot of people that are complaining, that are saying that, games pretty much look exactly the same, man. What's the big deal? The problem is, it's not there's no real problem here. It's the thing is that this generation is not just about, we're going to make games look better. We're going to make games run better. And that's the thing that I'm very much enjoying so far. It is that I buy a PlayStation 5 game, I know it's going to run at 60 FPS, at least for the most part. Mm-hmm. And that's awesome. I love saying that. Like, if it's got a PS5 logo on there, I know it will hit 60 FPS.
Did the PS4 games all run at like 30 max?
So it depends. So there's a few interesting things, and I was going to get into this because this ties into backwards compatibility on the system. There are PlayStation 4 games that are capped at 30 frames per second. Bloodborne is one of them.
Which is unfortunate.
Ratchet & Clank from 2014 was one of them. It recently got a patch to uncap its frame rate on PS5. But a few other games, I could probably name a few. I think Horizon Zero Dawn as well. They're all capped at 30 FPS on PS4 and PS4 Pro. There are certain games after the PS4 Pro came out, and maybe even like before that, because there were still 60 FPS games like Call of Duty or whatever that were still being released and playable on base console hardware, PS4 and Xbox One. Anyway, when the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X had made their debut, a lot of games had patches or were then being developed with performance modes and resolution modes. So it's like on the resolution mode, you're running at 4K or even a dynamic checkerboarded 4K, but you're like capped out at 30 frames per second the whole time.
Right.
But then you'll have like a performance mode where it's like, we're only going to be running at 1080p, but the game is uncapped, or at least caps out at 60 this time around. So it's like, but the thing is like on the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, is a lot of times either of those systems had a hard time hitting 60 FPS on a lot of those games. They would have consistent dips and performance issues, and they were mostly 45 FPS machines. But now we are at 60 FPS, not only with newer titles, but also a lot of those titles that are backwards compatible that were running on the PS4 Pro with uncapped frame rates are now hitting a consistent 60 FPS via just backwards compatibility. No additional patches or anything. No PS5 enhanced patches. Just the games as they are running 1080p, 60 FPS, just via backwards compatibility. So a lot of your PS4 library, well, I'm not going to say a lot, but at least some of your PS4 library is going to play a lot better on the PS5. that alone, I feel, makes the system worth it. You're going to say something?
But still, the unfortunate part about Bloodborne specifically is that the game itself was capped at 30, right?
Yeah, so the Bloodborne itself was capped. Again, it's not every game. We have been consistently harassing Sony and even From Software if, like, hey, can we please, because apparently Dark Souls 3, they add an uncapped frame rate, and it's running at 60 FPS on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and everything. So, you know, it's the same game engine. I mean, I know it's not going to be as easy as flicking a switch or anything, but it'll be worth it. I mean, shit, man, I'll do another freaking playthrough of Bloodborne if I can play that at 4K 60 FPS. You shitting me? Hell yeah, that sounds amazing. I'll do that. Yeah, that'd so warrant another playthrough. I might be better at fighting Koss this time if I have the extra frames. Who knows? Maybe it'll be worse. But anyway, yeah, performance-wise, that's great. The only other thing I guess I'm going to mention before I talk about the games I've played on the PS5 is the DualSense, the new controller.
Is it pretty sick?
I'm holding it in my hands right now. It is really cool, but with just like the console itself with an asterisk. There are issues with this controller, biggest of which, and really honestly my only real problem I have with the controller is that apparently it is very prone to analog drift. So I have not ran into that issue myself, but I am sure I will come to a time when I will need to retire this controller due to stick drift. Besides that, the controller is really cool. If you're kind of familiar with the Switch with the HDR rumble, a lot of design philosophies of that have been brought over to the DualSense controller, plus a lot more. Not only do you have, you know, the built-in microphone. You have a built-in microphone. You have a speaker on the controller. You have the touchpad that was like from the PS4. You also have motion sensing, haptic feedback.
Haptic feedback
on your trigger.
From what I understand, is the only like huge improvement. I mean, or advancement over the other controllers. Because from what I remember, the PS4 DualShock still has, you know, rumble and the touchpad and the speaker and I believe the mic as well, right?
It just does not have a mic.
Oh, so the mic and the haptic is the main two things.
Yeah, and just the new rumble systems as a whole. It's a lot more dynamic, more interesting.
Oh, okay.
In your controller vibrations. I don't really know how to explain it, but if you were to play Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War on PS4 with the rumble on, and then you played it on the PS5 with the rumble on, like, you'd be okay, like, oh yeah, no, there's certainly a difference. Like, there definitely is. But the haptic feedback, it is definitely like the biggest selling point, the one that at least most people have been kind of like jumping onto. Yes, the triggers do have resistances, either the left or the right trigger when you're, you know, pulling. When you're holding down the left trigger to pull a gun into iron sights, when you pull the trigger of a gun, how it, you know, it starts off kind of hard, but then when the projectile hits, the trigger becomes kind of more loose. You feel that in the triggers.
That sounds pretty cool.
It's really cool. When you're winding a spring, the trigger gets harder to press down as the spring presses down, and then it lets go like super easily. You also some other things I felt with the triggers. There was one other. Oh yeah, in a game where a camera is involved, when I'm taking pictures, it kind of feels like a bit like a camera shutter. When you kind of take the picture, kind of clicks like a camera shutter does.
That's pretty neat.
It's really, really cool. But it does come at a massive disadvantage that when you have all that stuff on, it eats the battery life of that controller hardcore. This is about a 4 to 5 hour, well, no, not that short, but maybe a 5 to 6 hour battery life on a controller, which is, it feels kind of weak. Like, I know, like, who's doing, who on average is doing an 8-hour gaming session? Like, nobody, not even me. But still, it's like, I feel like I have to charge the controller after every game session I have. Say I play, like, maybe on a day off, like today, I played some games today before I went to go do errands and stuff like that, did Mother's Day stuff, and then I come back and I'm playing more games, but the battery is already down to like 1 bar, and it's like, ugh, come on, man. And it's like, and I'm going to be here for at least another 2 hours. I'm trying to stretch the battery life out of this as much as I can. It's just,
I mean, you
consistently having to charge.
I mean, can you plug it in while you're playing though?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I have a 10-foot long cable coming in the mail tomorrow that I'll just have plugged directly into my console, which will just make things easier for me if I'm in the middle of a game or something and I get bothered about the controller dying. So, I mean, again, it's a bit of a menial issue, but again, if you are using it wirelessly, do note that if you have all your features on and everything, it is going to chew through that battery life faster than you might possibly expect.
That's good to know.
Yeah, definitely, but nevertheless, the controller is really great. So, I'm going to summarize everything here by saying, again, the system, it's definitely worth getting. It's a great console, there's a lot of good stuff about it, but there are a lot of problems. I have a lot of issues with it. It's not perfect. That might come with more patches, firmware updates down the line, or maybe even a hardware revision.
Which I heard might be
eventual. They're not. It's only going to be changing something with the CPU. They're not going to change anything with the outward appearance of the system. So.
Well, yeah, because of the semiconductor shortage.
Yes, trying to get more people to actually get their hands on it. Because the demand is super high, but no one can get it. I'm surprised I even got one as early as I did. But here we are.
Yeah, at this point, I've had the money saved up, and I've been attempting for probably close to a month now, and no luck.
I think there are certain subscriber bot things that you can do that will ping you when stuff goes on sale. It'll let you know, hey, a PS5 just went up. Like,
yeah, I follow one on Twitter, and I have an app.
Okay.
And
Bot Central, or something like that. Sentinel, something. I've heard of one of them.
Yeah, and so far, like, every time I respond to one of those, I fail to secure one. One of them was it told me that there was going to be like the PS Direct queue or whatever, and so I jumped in the queue, and I was in the queue. Like, I made it to the queue, and I was waiting, and then I got to the front of the line, and I was greeted with the out of stock sign.
Damn.
Yeah.
Gonna fat F in the chat.
Taking an L on that one.
Yeah, homie. Yeah, so I hope you can get one sooner rather than later, because it is great, and you'll love it. I know you'll love it. I think all of you guys would find something fun with the PlayStation 5. I think you all would at least find it a very entertaining system, and if you're gonna make a decision on a quote-unquote console of choice for this generation of PlayStation and Xbox, kind of button heads there, that the PlayStation console is definitely the more appetizing of the two, because Xbox has their Game Pass on PC and everything, which they're doing that for a reason and everything. People are still going to buy Xboxes. I'm still going to buy an Xbox. Apparently I heard recently a lot of the Xbox 360 games, or not a lot, but at least a few, some of those Xbox 360 and original Xbox games, got some sort of frame rate unlock. And now the Series X is now just taking a lot of games that are just backwards compatible on the system, and they're now running at 60 FPS, and they were only running at 30 on the 360. Like, isn't that awesome?
Yeah,
that's so
cool.
freaking cool. 360 games. It's badass. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's 2 generations back.
Yeah, and even like original Xbox as well. Some of those
original, wow.
are even getting some are getting a boost there too. It's so freaking awesome. So this is a really promising console generation. I'm very much looking forward to continually seeing what lays upon the horizon for features, games, so on and so forth. Because we're off to a great start.
Well, I know for a fact one of them is going to be Horizon.
Oh yeah, Horizon Forbidden West is definitely going to be a big system seller when that comes out, if there's systems to buy when that game comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of games, I've obviously, played games on the PlayStation 5. It'd be weird if I, bought a $500 console and just stared at it,
Use it as a
and did
glorified
nothing with
paperweight.
it the whole time. I did absolutely nothing with it until I played Resident Evil Village.
Because of Big Booba.
Big Booby, that she's barely in the game, so...
Rip.
Yeah.
Well, it's what I expected, honestly. But dude, video games though, bro. Like, who the shit cares about your ugly ass Wi-Fi router console if the games on there ain't dank as shit, bro? So, I hated that sentence that I just said. That was awful.
That's a great blurb.
It was awful. So the very first game that I completed on the PlayStation 5 is the game that most people will complete when they finish the PS5. Wow. when they get a PS5, the very first game they'll probably finish will be Astro's Playroom. It is a free-to-play title with your console. Comes directly with the PlayStation 5. I got mine pre-owned, so I don't know if it's just pre-installed on the system, but even if you do get it pre-owned, it's still a free download for everybody. Whether you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber or not, it's totally free. It's about 4 to 5 hours to 100%, and it's great. It's so much fun. It's a cute little tech demo for the controller, which is kind of what Astro as a character is for Sony. He's a tech demo mascot character. And this is just entirely a tech demo for the DualSense controller. It's like, oh, check out the triggers, and ooh, the vibrations, and ooh, the speaker, and ooh, look, blow into the microphone. But it's certainly really nice and sweet. So kind of a generic kind of a 3D platforming affair. I've heard some people kind of compare it a little bit to like maybe Mario 3D Land or 3D World-ish, or maybe even a little Galaxy-ish.
Yeah. Have you heard of the game Little Big Planet?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I've seen footage of Astro's Playroom, and that's what it reminded me of initially.
Okay. I know the Little Big Planet was only just a 2D platformer.
Yeah, it's 2D.
This is a 3D.
Astro's Playroom kind of struck me as, what if Little Big Planet but 3D and it's robots instead of puppets?
Yeah. It's really, really fun. And of course, if you get a PlayStation 5 and you don't play Astro's Playroom, I'm just gonna ask you what's wrong with you, because it's definitely worth playing. A lot of fun, especially if you're a fan of platformers, and if you're a big fan of PlayStation history, because they do some deep cuts in there of like not only like game franchises but hardware. Like they make some crazy references to like really old and obscure PlayStation hardware, and it's actually kind of funny. Like the PS Mini, what? That thing? Are you kidding me? The little LCD screen attachment for the PlayStation 1, the second revision PS1.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, there's a little LCD screen that you could clip to the back of one. They were really nifty. I used one a little bit. I had a friend who hung out with as a kid who had one. Even stuff like the iToy for the PlayStation 2, stuff like that. Different PSP revisions and PS Vita and whatever. It's real unique and certainly really cute and fun, and again, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's just kind of there to kind of get you kind of hyped. It's a hype man game where it's like kind of getting you excited, like, ooh, what game is going to utilize the controller like this next? And the answer is not a lot right now. There's a little bit, but nothing as good as Astro's Playroom, though. Although I hear Returnal is doing a very good job at that, but I don't have that game just yet.
It looks really cool, though. I've been wanting to play it.
Yeah, that does. It looks really good. But the next game that I played on the PlayStation 5, because I'm really all about showcasing the technical ability of the system to kind of like really stress test it and be like, okay, what's the one game that I have that that I think is going to push it the hardest, and that game is Bugsnax. Dude, I love Bugsnax. I've been inducted into the cult. Oh my god, that game is so much fun. It is Pokemon Snap meets oh jeez.
What's that YouTube series? Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Yeah. What
Some
about
of
it?
the atmosphere though. I could be wrong, but that's like what I heard. It's like it just says like some like random like dark elements. Yeah.
I was kind of my whole kind of comparison thing was that I mean, I guess you could kind of pull similarities that way, but my thing was cause I said it's like Pokemon Snap meets Ape Escape meets David Cronenberg body horror movie.
There's a
Yeah, it's wacky ass, but it's a real fun game, and I certainly appreciate it. Have had a lot of fun with it, and it was my second platinum trophy on the PlayStation 5. It was really worth going through and 100%ing that game. It's also on PlayStation 4, though I hear that PS4 port's a little weird, but the PC port's apparently like really good, and definitely play it if you can. I highly recommend Bugsnax. The Caro Caro Benito song about the game is also awesome, so there you go. Play Bugsnax.
Sick. I will play Bugsnax when I have a PS5.
Hell yeah, baby, you should. It's a good game. I'll tell ya, I sampled a game. I knew it was gonna be shit after playing it for about maybe 30 minutes, and I uninstalled it, never looked back. And that was Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Oh, yeah?
Ubisoft's shit attempt at making a Breath of the Wild clone, but it's Greek mythology.
See, I knew its market. Yeah, you know its marketing is bad when like I'm pretty much on the internet like all the time these days, and I thought it was a mobile game.
Yeah, it's I'm pretty sure Genshin Impact is probably even better, honestly.
I mean, I know a couple people personally that play Genshin Impact, and they say it's actually pretty decent.
Yeah, it actually has a PS5 patch that just got released, 4K 60 FPS for that. Somewhat intrigued, though. I don't know if I want to get sucked into weird anime Breath of the Wild. Anyway, yeah, Immortals Phoenix Rising was shit. Hey, what about the game that people actually kind of want to hear and actually talk about, Ethan? Okay, fine, I'll talk about Miles Morales.
Cool.
Yeah, Miles Morales. Yeah, Andrew's like, God, finally.
Just checking my phone.
Spider-Man Miles Morales. I have played the game, and it's really good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's got the story of an MCU movie.
Oh.
And but like the characters are written really well, and the gameplay is great, especially if you're playing it on the performance modes, which push it to 60 FPS. It feels so good to play, and the quick loading, oh, it's great. From the I think from the main menu, I think it's like only a couple seconds to load, about maybe 3 to 6 seconds. Resident Evil Village actually takes less than 3 seconds to load on PlayStation 5. From the main menu to getting you to playing the game, less than 3 seconds. It's yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, Miles Morales is just kind of more Spider-Man PS4. So if you liked what Spider-Man PS4 was doing, then you'll probably like this.
Yeah.
If you weren't a fan, then this isn't gonna win you over. But I really did like Spider-Man on PS4, and I like this one too. It's just kind of more of that. It's a little shorter. I've heard a lot of people kind of talking about 11 hours for 100% completion, but I haven't really felt the desire to 100% the game, at least just yet. Maybe someday, we'll see. But I've at least rolled credits on the game, and I'd recommend it. It's really good. It's also on PlayStation 4, so whichever way you play it, and if you actually buy that PS4 copy of the game, you'll get a free PlayStation 5 upgrade. So you pop your disc into the PlayStation 5, and then it will prompt you to download a PS5 version of the game, and your disc in the system is basically the key to unlock that version of the game, which is pretty cool.
Your disc.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a few games that do that, actually. Borderlands 3 also does it, and Resident Evil Village does it too. So if you buy the PS4 version, you'll get that free upgrade for the PS5 one with the disc.
Wait, did Village come out on the PS4?
Yeah, it's on. It's
cool,
on
I can
PS. Yeah, no, it's on everything right now, honestly, except for the Switch.
Yeah, it's on PC too.
Yeah.
Oh.
The engine is
electric
really well
boogaloo.
optimized. So I think as long as you're... I've been hearing some weird things about people playing it on base PS4 and Xbox One hardware.
I have a Pro.
But if you... Oh yeah, if you got a Pro, then... Oh yeah, no, you'll be fine. I hear it still looks and runs pretty well there, so you'll be playing it at like 30 FPS, but the game will still look and play really well, so... You know. Yeah, I'd still play it. Hell yeah, dude. Get
Yeah,
that
of
bread. Get in on the fun, man. More than you already have.
Yeah, such a tall order.
Yeah, it kind of is. Tall order, yeah, because the vampire lady. That's the episode title, Tall Order, and it's just going to be a picture.
I am brilliant.
And next to a PlayStation 5, and the PlayStation 5 is going to be taller than her.
Yes, I love it.
I have planned out the album art in my head. I know what I'm doing. The album art. The album art.
Tall order, all right. And yeah, she's like holding up a PS5, but it's like a McDonald's order.
Oh, yeah, I gotta have Photoshop a McDonald's hat on her.
Yes. Yes.
Give her some
Referring
fake hat.
to podcast art as album covers just makes me think, hey,
We're the same length as one.
and now
You
here's
should make album
the
covers.
vinyl. Now here's the vinyl pressing of the entire Usually Disappointed collection.
Hey, Ethan, you and I need to collaborate and make an album cover. It's like a...
You know, I only make like the only good stuff I make in Photoshop those shit posts. You know that, right?
Exactly. That's why I'm saying that we need
Okay,
to do
no,
that.
like,
It
I
needs
just-
to be
yeah,
like
just-
a funny
just-
album.
Okay, yeah, because if you're looking for anything like actually decent, like
No, dude, your
you're barking up the wrong
photoshops are
tree.
legitimately really good. Like they're really funny. Like
I'm good at making shit.
I want to
hey,
see.
that's a talent,
I want to
man.
see.
That's a talent.
I want to see.
It is.
one of the podcast episode art covers done in Andrew's style.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I could.
that would be
yeah,
interesting.
honestly. I'm
The
not sure
Master
what I would
Chief
do,
one where
but
his
we can always talk
ass is
about
hanging
that.
out.
Yeah, well, we can plan that out in the future.
Yeah, I can draw shit.
I've got one last game that I played on PS5 before we finally get this wrapped up. I played through Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition.
With Virgil.
Yes, I played Virgin mode. Also in turbo, so it was 20% faster.
Ah.
And Devil May Cry 5 is just one of the best things ever. And Virgil is so good. Oh, he's so good. So good. He's definitely like the most powerful character in the entire game, which to be honest, that's what he is in like any of the games that he's thrown into, whether that be 3 or 4. I think he's got playable bits in DMC Devil May Cry, though I haven't played those. So I mean, I don't know there, but at least in 3, 4, and 5, god man, he's a force to be reckoned with. There's a great video I want to show you guys, some like high level play of Virgil, just to show like, you know, like people who play Devil May Cry like hardcore, like I can play the game on like Devil Hunter mode, which is like normal mode, and like beat it and whatever. I won't get S ranks on all the missions or whatever, but I'll finish the game. But no, there's like those freaky people that'll play Legendary Black Knight difficulty, which is like the hardest enemies that they can. They throw like 20 of them at you in one room at a time, and then it's like, have fun, loser, and they like triple S combo the whole damn room. Like, okay, you people scare me. But Virgil is definitely one of those characters that encourages that sort of behavior from weirdos. So yeah, he's awesome. It's Devil May Cry 5, baby, and I got a physical copy of it because I only had it on PC previously, but yeah, I bought it, so now I have a copy. Just can keep on my shelf. I only have 2 physical PS5 games so far. That's Resident Evil Village and Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. They're both Capcom games, so off to a great start. I haven't even bought a Sony game yet. I haven't even bought a Sony game yet.
Bought their console and just buying Capcom games.
Yeah, just buying Japanese bullshit. But yeah, that's the PS5. That's my overview of the system. I'll have a full review again on video at a later time. And also the games I've been playing on it. Just kind of get you caught up on all that nonsense. And yeah, just gonna keep working on stuff from there. I'm gonna get Demon Souls soon.
Oh, that's another one I'm dying to play.
Let you guys know how that one is. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone.
Woo. Yeah. Back. Hell yeah, baby. Ethan's back and doing long ass diatribes of bullshit nobody wants to listen to. Speaking of getting back into the normality, let's get plugs.
Yeah, that's very mundane.
Yeah, Andrew.
I guess. Oh, jeez, it's been so long since I posted anything.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, I thought you didn't like remember what your plugs were. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to remember. You, ArtStation.
.com
you talk about your
Andrew
commissions.
Langston. Yeah. AndrewLangstonArt@gmail.com, I think. I've actually started using that email, like, just like when I get asked for emails, like when I go to stores and stuff. Because I used my other email is AndyTheDrew1@gmail.com, which is a pun on Winnie the Pooh. And which I thought was very clever, but whenever I have to give my email, I feel like I need to explain it to people. So with this new email, AndrewLangstonArt@gmail.com, people know everything they need to know about me.
It's very self-explanatory.
Like what my name is and what I'm into, and so I just kind of want to give that into Andrew Langston likes art. I should add a like.
Oh my goodness.
so people don't assume that I'm like good.
But you are good.
But no, you don't put likes in there, because then people will assume you're good, and then you'll get hired.
Mm-hmm.
I actually got a random email asking me to apply for Rockstar Games as like a concept artist. I'm pretty sure they just sent that to everyone on ArtStation, is my guess. I don't think they were singling me out specifically. But it was like, oh, what?
Hey,
that's very daunting. Like, I don't even know what to submit for that. It's very scary. I also got one for another gaming company called, I think, Chimera. which I had never heard of. So I looked it up, and they only do like shovelware type stuff. So
Oh yeah.
I probably have a better chance of getting that position. Is my guess.
Hey man, it's a foot in the door. It's a foot in the door. It's a foot in the door. Hey man, I'm writing for CBR because it's a foot in the door. Because I like it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm having a great time with these really shitty wages. I love it, guys. I love being paid terrible commission.
It's probably exactly what happened with me and Rockstar. Is like, yeah, we'll pay you, and it's like, and they don't even use my concept. And here's $60.
Here's $60.
Wow, you're getting 60?
Like,
wow, more than I'd get.
pretty much.
Yeah. Ben.
I have a link tree. You can find me on Twitter, Letterboxd, and Backlogged. I don't really post that much on Letterboxd and Backlogged, but I post about nothing on Twitter. So.
Yeah, baby. He's got some pretty good shit posts there.
Yeah.
I have a link tree as well. Letterboxd, Backlogged, Twitter, Instagram, CBR, Medium, and I'm also going to put my game collection in the link tree as well if you want to take a look at what my hoarding habits are like. It's not healthy. I actually got like a shitload of Xbox 360 games today because I've been very nostalgic for that console and I need 360 games. So please, if anyone of you guys see 360 games out in the wild, please ping me. Because they're cheap right now, and I want to get them while they're cheap. Anyway, that does it for me. Elias!
SoundCloud under EFA, and soon we'll be on Spotify and Google Play and everything once I release album, but I don't know what name that'll be. I don't know what anything will be, so when we get closer, I'll have more info.
You'll get to workshop an artist name?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I...
can we get a Poggies in the chat?
Poggies.
Poggies, bro.
Make that your name, Elias.
Poggies. All right.
Poggies.
All right. I'll spell it,
Make Poggies or something.
P's.
This is a sign from the heavens.
Capital
right?
G, lowercase g.
You gotta
1,
spell it.
3, 5. Poggies.
You gotta
Still
spell
Poggies.
You
They
gotta
put a
spell
silent
P.
Q in there.
There you go. Give it that French
You gotta
vibe.
spell
Yeah.
Pawg.
Poggies. The Poggy.
Hot Pog.
Oh my god.
Hit rapper and artist Poggy.
When it does some hot tracks.
This is awful. This is awful. All right, bye.
All right, bye.
Cool.